Basically, today was an ordinary day in Russia, and if one wasn't paying close attention, it might have seemed that the news was posting the same story from different angles. Drones were flying, oil refineries were burning, then drones flew over Russia again, more refineries burned, and then you might think another drone flew by, but no. It turned out to be an aircraft that caught fire in the air, fell, and everyone perished. Then Russians began a denazification of Russia itself, specifically in Belgorod and Kursk People's Republic, regions. I'm Maria Drutska, and today I will tell you about the main news from this ordinary day in Russia, and not only. Listen carefully so you don't get confused, because I did. In the morning, in the Russian city of Belgorod, local residents woke up to explosions. It turned out that drones had attacked the local administration, resulting in broken windows and doors. Later, the information also emerged about another explosion in the area of the railway station, where a drone fell onto the roof of a shopping center. Additionally, it is known that explosions occurred in the Kursk region. The local governor stated that the explosion led to power outage in 7 populated areas. And that's not all. A drone attacked on the fuel and energy complex of the Lukoil company in the Nizhny Novgorod region of Russia on March 12, disabled half of its capacity, as reported by Reuters. The attack damaged the main oil refining installation, meaning at least 50% of the plant's production was halted. The plant in Nizhny Novgorod is considered one of the powerful ones in Russia and processed about 15.8 million tons of Russian oil a year, which accounts for 5.8% of the total Russian oil refining volume. The company also processes about 4.9 million tons of gasoline, which is 11% of the total refining volume in Russia. The attack plant, by the way, is located 800 kilometers away from Ukraine. Explosions were heard also in the Moscow region. It was reported that air defense forces supposedly shot down a drone flying towards Moscow. Similar incidents occurred in the Tula, Voronezh, Kursk, Belgorod, and Leningrad region. Notably, the South Thermal Power Plant in St. Petersburg caught fire as well, but it's unknown if it was related to the nighttime attack. Drones struck an oil refinery in the city of Kstova in the Nizhny Novgorod region of Russia, in the city of Orel as well. A drone attack caused a reservoir of oil storage facilities, which caught fire as well. Well, before I continue, I want to thank all of you who send coffees on Buy Me a Coffee and become Patreons, and also subscribe to my Twitter page, where I post regular updates about the situation in Ukraine, and to my Instagram, where I show daily life in Ukraine. In the Ivanovo region, an Il-76 aircraft had a negative takeoff. In other words, it crash landed. Or to put it a bit differently, it fell. But before, when it was flying, the engine and other parts detached. Latest reports indicate that there might have been top specialists on the Russian military aviation on board, totaling 15 people. But it all ended well for Ukraine, and the Russian aviation specialists who would have continued to kill innocent civilians are no more. In other words, 8 crew members and 7 passengers were successfully demilitarized. The fire occurred during a routine flight. The official cause of the crash is stated to be an engine fire during takeoff. There was even a theory that a bird could have flown into the engine. If so, I'm sure that the bird was from a NATO bio laboratory and specially bred to fly the engines of Russian planes. And let me remind you that Il-76 is the aircraft designed for transporting military cargo and heavy weapons. The Russian Volunteer Corps, Freedom Legion, and Siberian Battalion entered the Kursk and Belgorod People's Republics of so-called Russia as part of a joint operation. We are coming to liberate you from poverty, destitution, and fear, to free you from the dictatorship of a terrorist organization that has seized power. The Freedom of Russian Legion published a video with the caption, "Good morning from the Russian-Ukrainian border." The Freedom of Russia Legion unit captured Tyotkina in the Kursk region of Russia in the morning, while tanks also appeared in the Belgorod region. By the evening, the intensity of the battles had decreased with the withdrawal of Russian troops. Yes, you heard correctly. Not with the arrival of Russian troops, but their retreat. I would even say their running away. Following the police, accustomed only for stealing and intimidating unarmed people, the Russian army soon left this village, abandoning positions and heavy equipment. This was discussed in an online interview by a volunteer of this battalion, Alexei Baranovsky. The village remains under the control of the Legion, and they do not intend to leave. The night will be difficult in the Kursk region, he noted. Well, it might still be too early to stock up on popcorn, though we all awaiting who will continue Prigozhin's work and finally reach Moscow. By the way, just yesterday I received a new supply of my races from American friends, so I'm ready for the civil war in so-called Russia. But interestingly, all this was activated before Putin's presidential elections in Russia, where there are no other options because he either barred everyone from the elections or killed them. So the next elections is by default his. So attacks show that they are not as protected as Putin promised, indicating the war will only get worse. For example, the Legion plans to hold a referendum on whether local residents agree to independence and the creation of Free Belgorod and Kursk People's Republic. This could also be just irony towards Russia's action over the last 10 years, but Putin must remember that his regime is not invincible, that we continue to fight for justice, and I hope the liberation movement in Russia will only expanding to Kremlin itself. That's it for today, and I want to thank all of you for supporting Ukraine, watching Ukrainian content, and if you like this video, you can support the channel's development on Patreon or buy me a coffee. See you soon, and Slava Ukraini!